Things in the crypto market are looking quite grim. Altcoins continue to bleed and people are losing a lot of hope. If you are in that camp where you feel like giving up this cycle, make sure you watch this video because I'm going to tell you the reasons why I think this cycle haven't been what we all expected. And I'm also going to tell you how I think things could change and also what my approach is in an environment like this. There is one coin which I'm finding a lot of solace in at the moment. And there are actually a couple of coins which I'm actively buying at the moment in the midst of this bloodbath. But the coins that I'm actively adding to my portfolio are limited to this one ecosystem that I'm going to discuss later in this video. And there's good reason behind why I'm doing that. I think they're really going to do well. But the rest of the market is quite red, and we need to talk about it. Firstly, let's start by talking about Solana, because this has now broken this diagonal trend line as well as the weekly moving average, which I highlighted on a show a few days ago, 4 days ago, when I said Solana's cooked, Solana's downfall is crushing the market. And I talked about how it was flirting with the idea of breaking this trend and how on that break, I actually de-risked a lot of my position, actually initially on the break of the lower bound of the 3-day money noodle. I broke, I think in the video I said around 50% of my position. Still holding 50% long term, but I did cut that 50% and I'm glad I did because I think at the current momentum and at the current rate, we may actually get a chance to bid Solana around $125 just based on technicals, unless there is some magical North Star which comes and gives the market some guidance over the next few weeks. And I do want to comment on that word, North Star, because a lot of people right now are asking me, Mars, why is the market dumping? And it's actually quite simple. The market doesn't have a North Star. There's no guiding bullish tailwind, which is going to propel the market forward. And for that reason, there are a lot of people losing hope. And the problem is when people lose hope, you have to ask yourself who is buying. And right now, there just aren't a lot of bidders. So when you have no North Star for the market to be guided by, and when you have no one actively buying or nothing on the demand side, sell pressure just takes hold. And the shorters are allowed to get away with just shorting tokens and printing free money, essentially. And this will keep happening until there is a shift. And that shift could be triggered by a variety of things. It could be a macro development. It could be as simple as a Bitcoin pump or an equities pump. It could be as simple as seller exhaustion. We have seen some signs of seller exhaustion actually over the past couple of weeks, but the market just continues to lack that buy volume, that spot-driven buy volume. Because we have a lot of trading volume. We have short squeezes that are happening, and these create short-term altcoin pumps, and you can definitely trade them, but there isn't much spot buy demand. And you do need spot buy demand to counteract the sell pressure, and then you'll get some squeezes, right? Once that demand kicks back in, then you'll get a lot of short squeezes because the market is heavily offside. It's heavily short right now. But you do need that North Star to kick in for the market to pump. And until then, Bitcoin is just going to continue to chop. Right now, it's still mid-range. Like, it's crazy that all of this carnage and panic is occurring when Bitcoin is still mid-range. But unfortunately, that's what's happening. Bitcoin's chop is absolutely killing people. It's time capitulation. If you actually look at Bitcoin's range right now, we've been ranging for around 100 days. If you want to map that out versus the last time we had a long ranging event, it's about here. So imagine if it went to here, 230 days. It would absolutely kill people. But that's kind of the scenario we're in. It's traders' paradise. It's investors' hell. And people are really struggling in the midst of this chop. I mean, mentally, motivation-wise, I've been struggling, but I'm just falling back onto discipline over motivation. That's my number one saying right now. I even made it my lock screen. Discipline over motivation. I'm just showing up every day. I'm getting better. I want to provide more value to the community. I'm working on all sorts of stuff, like giveaways, investment opportunities for the Discord, and you guys as well. I'll be talking about that soon. I'm just focusing every day on how can I provide value as a creator. Today's alpha at the end of the video, I think, is actually quite good once we go through the macro and the market-related stuff. And there are definitely some opportunities. I'm buying some stuff quite aggressively at the moment, despite the rest of the market looking bad. And I am just focusing on improving my system every day. Learning from my mistakes. One good thing that I actually find in a market like this is just talking to friends, talking to other colleagues in the industry, and for you, this could just be a friend that you trade with, and just reflecting on your mistakes is really valuable. Like today, I honestly did 5 hours worth of calls. A lot of calls. I'm pretty tired at this point. Don't know if you can tell, but yeah, I called one of my friends, one of my business partners. We reflected on some of the mistakes we made, what we can do going forward. I talked to my research team, and we reflected on some mistakes that we made in November, December with our research and with our profit taking and that sort of stuff, complacency. A lot of us fell into that trap of being complacent and not taking profits. And we reflected on that and what we want to do going forward. So I think it's really important to just acknowledge what you've done, good, bad, reflect on it. Talking to someone is great. Get it out there and then make a plan going forward. And that is what I'm really interested in doing right now. Not lingering too much on the past, but looking at opportunities going forward. And even in the past couple of weeks, you know, an ecosystem like Sonic or Phantom has performed really strongly. And we covered that 10 days ago. And I've been very heavy in that ecosystem. And despite the rest of my portfolio being down, I've been making money in this ecosystem. And I did a full guide 10 days ago where I actually said, even in this rubbish market, there are still opportunities. And I do believe that to be true, even though they are more sparse, even though they are fewer and further between. There are still opportunities to make money in the market, and that is really what I want to do as a creator. Just continue to give those opportunities on these shows. Make sure you subscribe and have notifications on, because that's my focus now. Just every day, head down, discipline over motivation, being disciplined, finding opportunities, being disciplined with my research, and being disciplined with creating great content. And if you do that, if you consistently control your inputs over time, the end product or your outputs are going to get better. I'll touch on that a bit more in a few minutes here. In terms of the week ahead, obviously Bitcoin is still ranging sideways. Equities are experiencing a bit of weakness. Bitcoin and alts obviously selling off a bit harder as risk on assets. On Tuesday, we have the consumer confidence survey, kind of a nothing burger. Wednesday is a big day though. We have NVIDIA earnings. This could actually be a catalyst or a headwind for the AI market. So keep your eye on NVIDIA. There's probably going to be some trading opportunities across AI tokens around Wednesday, before and after. So these are a lot of the tokens I'll show you in a second that I've been posting the charts in the Discord of. On Thursday, and this is also important, we have jobless claims, so unemployment data, as well as a preliminary GDP report. And then we have PCE on Friday. So obviously at the end of March, we have the next FOMC, potentially the FOMC that marks the end of QT and paves the way for QE, maybe later in the year. And that FOMC, obviously in the lead up to that, is going to be dictated in terms of how the market prices in a potential change of rates based on the data that we get this week. So this is what you need to know. Pause the video, screenshot it, and keep this up your sleeve for the week, because it is a relatively important macro week, but I guess every week is, important from a macro perspective. So there's always news from a macro point of view. It's just in a market like this, when the market's searching for a North Star, macro just has more importance, honestly. Like in November, December, macro didn't really matter. Things were pumping, sentiment was there, risk was there. So it didn't really matter what PCE said. No one cared what PCE said. But now it matters because the market is just searching for something. So even a little thing like good jobs data can send the market running. In this case, we would want bad data because a weak economy is good for potential rate cuts. It's kind of this screwed up environment we're in where our bags only seem to pump if there is bad data, because that gives the Fed license to cut rates. But it's a bit dislocated from the reality of how that affects people, but that's a conversation for another time. I want to touch very quickly on the two reasons. I've spoken about this a lot in the past, but I think we should touch on the two reasons why altcoin season didn't come. Like a lot of people expected it to come. And it did start to come in November, right? But it only lasted 4 days on the altcoin season chart instead of what should have or historically has been 20, 30 days. And I believe the primary reason we didn't see a heavier rotation, and I've spoken about it a few weeks ago, but just summarizing today for the people that maybe haven't been watching my videos, is because of pump fund and the Bitcoin ETFs. These, in my opinion, are the two biggest factors which contributed most to the death of alt season phenomenon that we've seen. Pump fund created insane altcoin dispersion, hyper gambling culture, and brought in a bunch of bad actors who extracted billions of dollars in liquidity. In recent times, we've seen that again with Libra and Malay and Trump and some of the other stuff that's been happening. And that money, once it leaves the space, once they extract it from retail, is never coming back to the space. It's a net outflow. Secondly, the Bitcoin ETFs. Even though Bitcoin ETFs are great, they're overall net bullish. They aren't net bullish for a traditional alt season, because although Bitcoin ETFs are great for overall Bitcoin adoption, they do eradicate the wealth effect, which has been one of the important constituents that triggers your typical alt season flow of funds from Bitcoin to Ethereum into majors, mid cap, small caps. And we didn't see that this cycle because people basically went straight to the pump fund, meme casino, and we didn't have that organic flow of funds of like rich Bitcoin whales or people that bought Bitcoin making money on centralized exchanges and then gambling down the risk curve. Because of these two factors, the altcoin market has been completely different to previous cycles. And subsequently, the way you've had to trade alts to make money in this market has been extremely different. Unless you bought in that downturn during the summer, and there were definitely coins we were averaging into, right? I even remember buying a lot of blood on memes at this point. Unless you bought then and then sold or took profits on a lot of these coins in November, the buy and hold strategy this cycle has been quite bad because narratives don't have the necessary longevity to give you a big enough exit window to justify holding for a long time. So this market is really rewarding traders. Now, when I say traders, it doesn't necessarily mean day trading or scalp trading. I think there's this misconception that if you're a trader, you're in and out like every day. There's definitely viability in multi-month trades. There's definitely viability in multi-week trades. I just think it's a mindset thing. I think a lot of people have this 2021 mindset of, let me build this massive portfolio and let me just hold it and make money, and then I'm going to time some miraculous exit. Maybe that did work for some last cycle. It didn't work for most last cycle. It didn't work for me last cycle. But this cycle, I think if you adopt that trading mindset, you can still hold stuff you believe in. There are many tokens I believe in and I hold them, but viewing them as a trade mentally at least forces you to think a little bit about profit taking, time horizon, and invalidation. And those are very important concepts to master if you do want to succeed in this market. So we've definitely moved into an environment which is favoring the traders, and instead of trying to beat them, join them. I think adopting that mindset of having a smaller core portfolio, a higher conviction core portfolio that you might hold long term, and then having flexibility to trade. I'll go through a few setups that I'm looking at right now in a couple of minutes here from the Miles High Club. I think that's going to be a valuable mindset to take forward into the next part of the cycle, whatever it may hold for us. And I'll talk about how I'm kind of going to play that as well. I also want to touch on the reason why I think this crash has hurt so many people. I'm seeing a lot of anger. I'm kind of compelled to believe on the Wall Street cheat sheet we might be in the anger phase. Seeing a lot of anger, not just from retail, but from creators, from big people in the space. Like, I am seeing a lot of anger, a lot of frustration bubbling over. And I think fundamentally the reason why it's hurt people so much is not because of the net financial loss that people have taken. It's because of the degradation of hope. I think it feels worse to have hope taken away than it does to lose money. So, you might put $10,000 into crypto and only have $5,000 now, right? That $5,000 loss certainly hurts to some extent, but it's the thought that you could make 50 grand. And now that hope is seemingly taken away that I think hurts the most. And at the end of the day, in life, I forgot that I was on full screen. At the end of the day, in life, happiness equals reality minus expectations. If you want to boil down, and I'm not some philosopher or psychologist, but I do think if you want to boil down an equation that summarizes happiness or even just contentness, if that's a word, it's probably this: happiness equals reality minus expectations. The expectation was that you could 10x easily, and the reality is that things are down 50% or more. And that is a 20x gap between the two. And that's why people are unhappy, fundamentally in the market right now. And in life in general. I think if any of you have had a good thing stripped away, whether it be a job, whether it be something you were striving for or a goal you didn't hit, or even a loved one, the expectation of having that thing and then having it taken away, the reality, is what creates unhappiness. And that's temporary. That feeling's always temporary. Obviously, there's some grief that stays with us as humans, but your reality resets, your baseline recalibrates to the new environment. And right now, we're in a period of people are now realizing their expectations were too high, and now that baseline has to recalibrate to the new environment. And it's this calm down, which is the painful part. It's that reality versus expectations adjustment that is the painful part. And that's what creates the anger phase of the market, where people are coming to grips with this equation. So this isn't just a crypto thing. This is a thing in many markets and in life in general, but we're seeing it play out in crypto right now. And ultimately, this is the hardest part. And it's been the hardest part for me as well. Just coming to grips with, my portfolio all-time high, the profits that I should have taken, the stupid trades like I talked about a few videos ago where I was up $1.7 million and round-tripped the entire thing. Like, I'm sitting here now, I'm like, 1.7 mil would have been nice. There were some trades where I definitely kind of fumbled the bag. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same. There were some good trades too, but there were definitely some mistakes, and I'm not alone. In fact, I've been talking to a lot of content creators today. Something that I've been doing this morning is just getting a bit of a pulse check. As I said, I spoke to a lot of my team, been speaking to content creators. I'm in touch with a lot of VCs, funds, etc. that I speak to and have co-invested into projects with. And a lot of them also got wrecked. So it's a very interesting cycle because it's been so like pump fun orientated. A lot of the creators and VCs and funds who weren't that involved in that game and didn't extract massively from that game, a lot of them also either got wrecked or have significantly underperformed this cycle. So it's not just retail. It's not just you or me that have experienced losses. It's the big funds, VCs, and creators who are also some despondent and were complacent. So don't think for a second that this cycle was just some big scam for creators or VCs to take your money. Sure, there were extraction events, but overall, a lot of these guys are down as well. I'm going to say down. Maybe they're not down from overall. I'm not down overall this cycle, but from all-time high, pretty much everyone's down. And how complacent you were in November, December dictates how down you are. So I think it's been a difficult cycle for all. It's been one of the hardest cycles ever because it hasn't followed traditional cycle models. Bitcoin is decorrelated from the market, as we discussed, due to the ETFs, and pump fund changed the game completely and changed the way the flow of funds operates in the space. People just jumped straight to memes and gambled on them, lost money and exited instead of playing that typical altcoin rotation. I did a variety of posts on Twitter today, talking about these more fundamental concepts. And I had comments like this, Mars sharding himself, looks like the correction's over, Mars getting scared. That's not the truth. Actually, I replied to this person, I said, not really. I posted like 10 setups in Discord this morning. I'm ready to pull the trigger. I just need the setups to hit. And that is where my head's at right now. I am not scared right now. I'm not sitting here panicking or crying. I am actively looking for opportunities. I'll speak about a few now from the Discord, but if you are in the Discord, you're obviously going to get all the updates on these trades, and you'll get trades as I find them. I'm finding stuff every day. This morning, I just decided to post a bunch because I am actively looking for a bunch of setups. Now, a lot of the setups I'm looking at are either reclamation / new uptrend plays, or they're high time frame liquidity sweeps of support resistance levels. So I posted a CHEX buy zone at 32 cents. I'll be longing that. Tau as well actually looks quite good here. I just want to see if it could hold for a couple of days. It's not going to be a fast mover, but Tau is a long if the market picks up. Probably the best long in the market from a technical perspective, or at least one of them. I'm looking at reclamation plays on a couple of alts. There are alts like Beam and ENA, which to me could definitely reclaim if the market rallies. Now, these aren't absolute trades. This could keep dropping, right? But I have many like if-then trades. What do I mean by that? If it reclaims, then I'll take a position. Or if it goes to 30, then I'll cut. So I think it's very important right now in the market to not be thinking in absolutes, but to be thinking of, okay, if this happens, I will do this. If you can do that, you'll become a much better trader because you'll be prepared for every scenario. And that's what I was doing this morning in my coin updates channel. I was just posting a lot of trade ideas. So at least I'm aware of them. I've got all of these on my trading view with alerts. So I'm going to be opening a variety of trades over the next few weeks. ENA might be one of them. Solana, I think, has got more downside. I'm not really interested in re-entering half of the position that I sold yet. There are a couple things on Sonic I'm looking at. I'll touch more on Sonic at the end of the video because that's one of the ecosystems / playgrounds I'm most interested in right now. There are a couple coins I'm watching there. Beam, of course, for a reclamation play like ENA is another one. Hype's interesting because Hype broke down its support band on the daily as well as its support level as well. It looks honestly like it wants to go to $19, and that is my bid zone on Hype. It's quite a tight range. It's compressed, so I think the likelihood of going to 19 is much higher, and then I would bid there because you have clear invalidation at 18. So I could go in with size there, probably maybe even with 2-3x leverage and have quite a clear stop loss. So I like that zone if we get it. We could also do like a deviation play here and reclaim. In that event, maybe I would buy and set my stop below, but then it's a mid-range stop, which I don't like. I prefer tighter stops, like directly below a support level. So either for me, we have like multi-week consolidation above this is the daily chart, or we go down here, we sweep the lows and I buy, which I think is what's going to happen. So Hype, I would be buying it around $19. There are a few coins like Edge as well, which just have insane strength at the moment, which I highlight. So going to be posting a variety of them in the Discord. If you're in there, you'll notice I'm going to be very trading focused over the coming weeks. Obviously, our other analysts like Paradise, etc., have always been trading focused, but especially for me, because I'm not really comfortable building a lot of long-term positions right now, there are a couple which I'll speak about today, but mostly a lot of my plays are shorter to midterm at the moment. So I'm definitely shifting to much more of a trading focus because it's much easier for me to set risk management on those trades and essentially get exposure to the upside of the market on a bounce. So if you do want those trades, there's always a link to the description in the Mars High Club below. Come be a part of the community. And if you're already in the community, keep a lookout for a lot of these trades, because not just from me, but also from our other analysts, because that is definitely the meta in the market right now. Just remember, you can't actually control the market. All you can control is what you do. So how do you improve your system every day? How do you wake up every day and upskill? How do you wake up every day and optimize your strategy? The really annoying thing about this market that I find, especially from very retail people, I know we're all technically retail, but like, bumping my mic up. I know we're all technically retail, but I'm talking about like real super normies, is they come in and they get excited when the market's pumping, and then they just vanish during times like these. But the frustrating part is, now is the best time for you to focus on your system. Like if you've never learned a trading system, if you don't really know how to do invalidations and trade based on momentum, and even draw support resistance levels properly, like isn't now not the best time to do that? You're not distracted by pumps. You're not distracted by meme coin craziness. You have this free time to upskill. Yet most people are going to leave, get bored, and only come back when the market starts pumping again. That's always blown my mind. As someone that was here throughout the entire bear market, posting videos every day in 2022 and 2023, posting threads multiple times per week throughout that entire period, it shocks me that people don't utilize those periods more. The only reason I was able to make any profits in 2024 was because I was really tapped into the market for years, even when price was chopping sideways or going down. So if it's been 2 weeks of chop or downwards action, you're already thinking about quitting, like, just remember, we had to go through this for like almost 2 years, about a year to a year and a half in 2022. We survived that, learned a lot, upskilled throughout that entire process, built systems that paid dividends in 2024. Even that March run, not just November, was a nice month for profits. Once again, probably didn't make as much profits as I could have or should have, or same as a lot of you guys, but that work was put in a lot earlier. So just remember, this is the time to just focus on getting better every day. Now, it's not just about crypto. It could be getting healthier, going to the gym. I've been back at the gym again. I've got my six-pack back a little bit. Not fully getting there. Not going to go shirtless on the streams just yet. But just remember, now is the time to just level up every day. And it definitely applies to crypto because you can learn a trading strategy every day. You can learn actively how to do things that you wouldn't have had time to do during the bull market. And the best part is we have all of that condensed in the Mars High Club. We have all this education posted, all of these resources posted, full courses on how to trade, 7 live mentorships, actually 8 live mentorships per week, where you can go to all of these events and ask us questions. And we also have questions channels. I answer every question. I send literally 3-minute voice message replies to some people. I've been replying to I have been replying to everyone and posting charts. Like, ask me about any coin, I'm answering, right, in my channel. It's only possible because the market's quiet. When the bull run was happening, I couldn't get to every question. Now, I'm spending hours just answering your questions. So now is the time to learn. If you want to learn fundamental analysis from me, you can learn it. If you want to learn how to trade from Paradise or Doc or Morin or any of our other traders, as you can see, Paradise is answering all these questions. We have a trade, and I'm not just shilling the Mars High Club. You can do this in any Discord. If you want to join another free Discord, join another free Discord. But I believe I've built a really amazing community of education for those that are serious. We have a trading chalk channel where everyone just talks trading. The more important message here isn't about Mars High Club. It's about the fact that every day we're just focusing on getting better. And I think doing that with people is a lot easier and a lot more fun. So even if you don't want to spend money, sure, don't spend money. Create a little research group for yourself. Get some friends together. Create a Telegram. Start sharing setups. Obviously, if you can have some experienced traders, that's better. But at least try and keep yourself motivated. If you're a self-learner and you're able to do it by yourself, do it yourself. What I found is that it's very difficult to motivate yourself. Even now, like being alone, it's not fun. Today, for example, when I was reflecting on some of our mistakes and what we did well and what we're doing for the future, I did that with friends and colleagues from, my business. I find it much easier to do it with people. So look, if you're a good lone wolf, be a lone wolf, but it's way easier to learn and adapt with people. Now, there was just one tweet from ALO, which I really liked, and it does sum up the only tokens you really should be considering buying in the market. I'll read it out. He says, if an alt is ever going to stand a chance of keeping up with Bitcoin over multiple cycles, then it's going to have buyers of its own token. No alts have ever been good enough long-term holds because there's no meaningful underlying passive bid. Protocols must create this bid themselves, and this will separate successful alts from the rest over multi-year time horizons. It's not just over multi-year time horizons, it's in the short term. The reason, as I mentioned before, why alts are going down is because there are no bidders. There are no passive bidders, but there are also no active bidders. So you have to find the tokens where there are buyers. Ask yourself, who would actually buy this token off me? Who would be willing to buy this token off me at a higher price? What are the reasons? What's the rationale that they would buy this token off me? If you can't answer those two questions, you probably shouldn't buy the token. Because if you don't think there is a compelling reason for someone to buy that token off you at a higher price, there's probably no compelling reason to buy the token at all. So I've really been asking myself, whenever I buy a coin, or even for my current holds, where's the bid going to come from? And I don't think just saying, people will bid speculatively is good enough. Because why would they buy speculatively? Because, the market will recover. Okay, why will it recover? Wouldn't you rather wait to have a clear reason for a market recovery before playing those speculative plays? Because I will. I'm going to trade a bunch of stuff. Just as mean reversion plays, short squeeze plays, when we have a North Star. But until then, I only want to buy stuff that has an actual bid. An actual bid irrespective of the market. Now I'm going to discuss one ecosystem now which has an actual bid, and it's the Sonic ecosystem. Phantom or Sonic, they did a rebrand, has a bid. Why does it have a bid? Because in order to airdrop farm, one of the main assets for many of the pools which give huge multipliers to earn the airdrop, which is going to be in June, are using the S token. And a lot of the fees are benefiting the S token from all of the trading, swapping, speculation that's happening right now in light of this airdrop. Now, I did a video 10 days ago telling you need to be looking to the Phantom ecosystem. Since then, some of the plays that I mentioned, like Shadow, for example, have gone from 5 mil to 35 mil, 7x. The ecosystem has gone from 600 mil to 1 bill. This is an example of a singular ecosystem that, despite the market doing badly, goes up and up and up. Why? It goes back to this A-low point here. The reason why is because there is real demand. Now, that demand is created maybe artificially by an airdrop, but it doesn't change the fact that there is a reason for people to buy. If you don't have a reason for people to buy, the token can't go up. And look, the Phantom airdrop is in June, I believe. Let me get the data for you right now. June 1st is the end date. Maybe the airdrop will be slightly later than that, but we know there's a bit of runway here. And for that reason, this is a token that on dips, I would still be interested in playing. Now, I actually did a post in my Discord. I'll try and find it very quickly about Phantom and how I wanted to long the noodle. So I said here yesterday, I want to long the S noodle. This order just triggered for me earlier today. So it was a buy at 79 cents. We bounced into it. I think this could be a decent zone because you have inval below. So it actually has been maintaining structure quite well on the 4 hourly to the noodle ever since, probably the start of Feb. It's been bouncing quite nicely. It has even more efficacy on the slightly higher timeframes, like the daily. You see this trend reversal when it happened. This has been quite good. Obviously, there could be a deeper pullback into this range. I'm personally not playing invalidations on the daily. I'm playing inval on the 4 hour because I want to be a bit tighter. But I'm personally doing a lot of farming with my S. I know I'm on the Phantom chart, but I'm just on Phantom because it has more price history. The new ticker is S. It's the Sonic token. And I'm using that for a lot of farming on-chain. So I'm in a lot of pools across the ecosystem. I think a lot of the pools on Shadow are the best. I'm in quite a few of them. You also have this strategy with SCUSD. So if you go into the soniclabs.com/points/earn, you can mint SCUSD or SCETH by putting up collateral. You can put up stables, you can put up ETH, and you can mint this token. This has the highest multiplier for an airdrop. And a lot of the other pools where you can utilize the S token also pay big APRs and multipliers. But a lot of the coins on, LPs on Shadow are very good. I'll show you some of them now. So if you go to liquidity and you go by APR, I love how like DeFi season's back again. Actually, let's not look at this. Let's look at TVL because there's a lot of memes, which, to be honest, if you LP some memes and one of the memes does well, you can make a lot of money really quick. But I'm not going to talk about that degen. That is degen stuff you can play around with. If you want to ape the memes there or the rubbish AI coins or whatever is launching and LP them and make some quick gains, do it. It's fun. I've been playing around with it. I'm just not going to shill any of them today. But if you look at the TVL, you can see some of the bigger pools. Obviously, you've got the USDT pool. So you can actually farm USDC, USDT, make 35% APR adjusted, and earn a Phantom airdrop from that. So I personally put some stables. I know there's smart contract risk, so I don't really farm heavily. I'm just, airdrop farming a little bit. Another great, I'm not going to go too deep into it because I believe they have some new launches shipping, which are going to improve the APR. But another pool that I'm going to deposit a lot of liquidity into is WAGMI. It's on Daniele Sesta's protocol WAGMI. It used to be Popsicle Finance. They are going to have GMI on Sonic, which is basically, I think, USDT, USDC, Sonic, a couple other assets, ETH, I think, as well. And you can essentially earn 200% on that. And there's an insane flywheel I'll go into in a future video with that, which makes that quite a good play with an insane APR, honestly, 200+%. So that's a play that I'm looking at. I'm going to do that over the next few days once it's live. But until then, I've just been doing a lot of farming on Shadow. Also, I've been minting the USD tokens on the Sonic website So I'm looking for a Sonic airdrop, but even if you aren't airdrop farming, there are some interesting plays, because basically the premise here is that other people will be airdrop farming. So you've got to ask yourself, when other people airdrop farm, what assets are they going to get into? Now, Shadow was one a few days ago, but going forward, there are a few. I think there's some interesting stuff happening with WAGMI. That's why I put the chart in the Discord. I don't think there's a rush with here, and I think GMI is probably the safer play, but WAGMI is a good option, I think, if you look across the Sonic ecosystem. There are also a couple other protocols which I'm looking at. ANON, I've spoken about that a lot in the past, but that has some very exciting stuff coming. Just keep your eye out over the next few days on the channel. We're going to have some more content dropping on that, and overall, I am quite bullish on that, even longer term, not just short term. GOGLZ is a meme play if you want some meme exposure. If you want the top meme beta, that's one to consider. NAVI is a perp exchange. Now, a lot of these are already up massively, so just be aware of that. But their airdrop is in June, so I can see more runway in the ecosystem. Just trade stuff with invalidations, honestly. And you should be right in terms of managing risk whilst exposing yourself to upside. So Navi's like leading perp exchange. Beats as an OG protocol with decent yields. I like the Danny projects the most. WAGMI, ANON, and not just the tokens, but the farming that you can actually do with GMI is sick. And there's a lot of cool farms on Shadow as well. So Sonic, honestly, it's kind of revitalized the DeFi guy in me. And it feels like I'm home. You know, after all that meme coin stuff, it's like cleansing to be able to farm again and make money. So this has definitely been an ecosystem I've been focused on. Did my first video 10 days ago. Obviously, all of that's done super well since then, but I still think there is opportunity here. As I said, recently took a Phantom long. Recently been adding some of the projects here. Not with huge size now, because I think a lot of them have run a lot, like Shadow's run a lot, for example. So for Shadow, I'm more interested in the pools, but there's some other stuff which aren't up so much, where there's still decent opportunity. Just scrolling down to see if I missed anything. Like, if you want my favorite ones from this list, ANON, WAGMI, the Shadow Farms, GOGLZ if you want a meme play, Beats, NAVI, those are probably my picks. And don't just like ape the tokens, go look at the ecosystems, because the ecosystem is offering so many opportunities to earn yield and potentially an airdrop. So even in a bad market, there are still lots of opportunities to make money. And that's pretty much my message today. Don't give up. Focus on ways to get a little bit better every day. Maybe this week is the week that you become a better trader and you explore the Sonic ecosystem a bit more. And once you've kind of conquered those things, it's never done, of course, but once you've, got the basics mastered, next week upskill somewhere else. Learn something else. Become a better fundamental investor. Become a better researcher. Have a better DD framework. Make a DD framework on Notion. A SWOT analysis before you buy a token. Build all this stuff out. You got time now. So don't be complacent. Build this stuff out and you'll be much better when the market pumps. I'll see you in the next one. Back to the daily videos when I have alpha. Look at how low I am. It's because I'm like crouched over. Usually my framing's a bit better. Now's the market to really dig deep. And honestly, although it's rubbish from a money perspective, I am having fun. I'm not going to lie. I'm having fun just researching again and not feeling pressure. I like not feeling pressure in terms of aping something. I hate that feeling of like, oh, I've got to ape because it's just going to pump in 3 days. Like, now I can take time. I can research. I can allocate. I don't feel under pressure. I like that. I make better decisions like that. Unfortunately, the rest of our bags just don't like that. But there are positives in every negative, and I'm trying to take the optimistic approach here. So I'll see you in the next one. Have a lovely rest of your day. Peace out.